Yes, good evening, everyone. It's another beautiful Friday evening. Oh my goodness. Like always, I am super excited this evening. And like all of you know, I am the host of the Speaker Show. My name is Niniola Fatai. So, everyone, thank you so much for joining in all over the world, wherever you're watching from. I just want to say a very big thank you to each and every one of you that you've been so dedicated to our show, to our platform. I am so grateful. Thank you. Yes. So today, oh my goodness, we are going to be like, we're going to have an exciting time because we have the greatest of the greatest of the greatest in our midst this evening. And I am super excited. I have a very beautiful pastor coming in. I'm sure most of you have seen the flyer out there. But before we get started, this is the Speaker Show, a place of inspiration where minds are being liberated through reasons. So, for most of the people that you are here, that you are new to our platform, this is a place where, through people's story, you can find your home path in life. And also, most importantly, it's a place of inspiration and motivation. So on our channel, you're going to get different kind of juice, different kind of, words, different kind of, just naming it's on there. So get excited for what we have this evening, because this man that I'm going to be bringing on, Pastor Niran Kolawole, I'm going to be bringing him. I know I'm not supposed to mention his name, but I'm over excited about that. So get ready, everyone. He has done a lot of great things, like he's written books, which we're going to be talking about that tonight. So all of you get excited. Yes, I'm excited about that personally. So welcome together, everyone. Let's welcome Pastor Nero Kolawole. Good evening, Pastor Nero Kolawole. How are you?
Good evening, Stanini. How you doing?
I'm fantastic. How is it going?
It's going wonderful. It's going wonderful.
Amazing,
Yes.
amazing, amazing. It's beautiful for you, like, for us to have you on our show tonight. I am excited about that because
Oh,
I know, like, with in the past that I've learned so many things from you. He pastored me, he's my pastor. So yeah, so trust me, you are not gonna go wrong because he has taught me so much, and I am happy, and it is an honor for me to have him on the show tonight. So, Pastor Nira, if you don't mind, can you share a little bit about, like, about yourself, like about yourself, how you started, like, can you share a little bit for us?
well, before I start, thank you so much for having me on your show. It's good to see
You're
the
welcome.
great work that you are doing. Yes, my name is Pastor. Right now, I live in the U.S., Connecticut, but I'm a Nigerian. I was born in Nigeria, but I grew up in Canada, where I believe I pastored for about 8, 9 years, and I felt God leading me to move to the U.S. So I'm a pastor. I'm a husband to a beautiful wife and two beautiful girls. And I'm passionate about everyone. This one of my greatest passion in life is helping people to discover their purpose in life, and that's what I'm all about. That's the sent my message to my generation, and I'm so excited to be able to share a topic that is very dear to my heart to our viewers tonight.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. That is beautiful. So, when we talk about purpose, so, being a pastor, and then, the word itself, I feel that, like, we kind of look at it in different kind of perspective. So I don't know, like, if you want to throw, like, a little bit light into, like, which, like you mentioned earlier on, that you're so passionate about, like, people discovering their true purpose, because I've seen a lot of people who don't even know what they're supposed to be doing, and they're just all over, like, in the market, and then they're just there. So I wanted to, like, tell us, like, how 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 do you come about, like, like, people, like, what is your view on it, like, and how would you say, like, purpose, like, like purpose for, like, the word general, like, I don't know if you get my question.
Yeah, I'll try to answer your question. I think that the starting point for everyone is to understand that everyone has a purpose on the face of the earth. Every man and every woman. And it's very important for us to understand that life is about purpose. And the reason why you exist is to fulfill a purpose. Every man and every woman, everyone that you will meet, and anyone that you're going to meet, when you come across them, you are seeing someone that has a purpose at which why he or she is here. Like for instance, the device I am using, the the person that designed it had something in mind, and he designed the laptop or the iPad or the iPhone. And the iPhone was not just created for the sake of just looking nice. It was created to meet a need. It was created to serve a purpose. And so, if everything around us we see is meeting a need and serving a purpose, how much more you and me that the thing is designed for? So, just as we see everything, the car serves a purpose, the house that we live in serves a purpose, the iPad, the iPhone, the Samsung Galaxy, if you're a Galaxy person, all of that serves a purpose. Much more, you and me, we serve a purpose. So everyone, first of all, needs to understand that, hey, there's about 7 billion people on the face of the earth. That means all 7 billion people on the face of the earth have a purpose on the face of the earth. And once we have that general understanding that I have a purpose, that I'm here to play my own part, as like we can say, I'm here to do I'm here to do what I'm supposed to do. Once we
Mhm.
have that general understanding, then we then it's like having a world view. It's like having a paradigm shift. That okay, wow, I'm not left out in this whole thing. I may not know what it is. I may trying to discover what it is, but I have a general understanding that life is about purpose, and that everyone on the face of the earth has that individual purpose at which God desires for them to send them here on assignment to accomplish. The same way the owner of the iPhone had something in mind, so also there was something in God's mind when He created me and you. So I hope that answers the
Amazing.
question.
Amazing, amazing. You know, that's what I love about it because when you begin to dig deep, oh my goodness, it's always beautiful. And
Yes.
actually, like, the fact that we actually even picked a topic that, like, you're very passionate about, like, I know, like, it's going to be juice tonight.
Yes.
Yes. So moving forward, I want to ask you, Pastor Nero, so for every individual, so how do you think that, like, people can start to, like, begin the process to discovering, like, who they really are, and you know that way they can be able to find their actual path in life.
First thing we need to understand that discovering purpose is not difficult. It's actually more easier than we think. Um, it's not as challenging as we think. It's not as rigid as we think. You have to understand that God planned your life. So,
Mhm.
for instance, He planned where you will be born. He planned to whom you would come through, right? And there's a reason why God brought you through your parents, because of your purpose. Let me give you
Mhm.
let me explain a little further. Let me use my life as an example. For instance, I grew up in I grew up in a I grew up in a Christian home, and I grew up in this Christian home, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, um, it didn't, even though I grew up in a Christian home, my mom necessarily wasn't going to church like that. She would call herself a Christian, but she wasn't a Christian like we would like to say, right? But one day she started having some issues in her life, and she decided that, you know what, I need to go and see a pastor, right? And then in the process of her going and see a pastor, she took interest in the church, she got saved, and all of a sudden, that was when I was introduced to church. And when I was very young, I loved it. My siblings would stay home, I would go to church. In fact, to the point that everybody was sleeping, I will make sure that I'm awake, and I'll ask my mom, "Are you going to church? I want to go." Right. So the reason why God brought me through that, through my parents, because God was because God because God used that avenue to as a pointer to my purpose. Now, it might be you grew up in a home where your father's an engineer, and all of a sudden you took interest in engineering, or it can be you grew up in a home where your parents were doctors, and you just all of a sudden you fall in love with doctors, or maybe so. A lot of times our upbringing are pointers to our destination in life.
Hmm,
So
true.
it's very important for you to examine your upbringing. Like, for instance, I remember talking to you years ago. You always talk about your mom. Oh, my mom. She's a businesswoman. She's a businesswoman. Guess what? Guess what, sister? Guess what you are? Guess what Nini is doing? She's into business, right? Because
Mhm.
sometimes your upbringings are pointers to the direction at which you are to go with your life. But can you imagine if she grew up in a home of engineers, right?
Mhm.
Maybe she would become an engineer. So sometimes the atmosphere around you can be pointers. Now, don't get me wrong; it doesn't necessarily. There have been pastors that grew up in a Muslim home. It has happened that way, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean that that is how it's gonna be, but it could be a pointer. It could be like a connecting the dots kind type of thing where God is guiding you into the very purpose at which God has predestined for you to be while here on earth. So it's very important for you to understand that. Take a study of your upbringing, take a study of your parents, study them. Why did God bring me through this family? God could have brought me through different families. God could have brought me, and you have different families. Some families didn't grow up with their father, or they didn't grow up with their mother, or they never met their father and never met their mother. All those are pointers. All those um are messages that are pointers to the direction at which your purpose lies.
Wow, it's funny, like with what you just shared right now. Like personally, I never thought about it like that. Like, but sitting down and then listening to you, I'm like, actually, you could actually correlate each and every one of it together. And then I think that, like, I'm sure like there will be other people as well too, like who will be like me, and then like just kind of connect the two together. So yeah, so thank you for sharing that. I really like that. Thank you.
Yeah.
So the way, like, so right now, what would you say, to people, like, when they're like in their environment right now? Because, the environment that you have, it matters a lot. So even when you've discovered a lot of things that you could do from your parents, like, from that lineage, and then you get older, the environment that you keep as well, because at this time you're grown, like, you're fully aware of who you are, even though not 100%, but like, so what would you say to environment? Because I know environment is one of the key things. The same way you can, like, you walk through the journey from your parent, now as an adult, if you don't work in the right environment, many people don't end up to achieve that, that purpose that they're supposed to achieve, or like whatever they want to do, they're not able to do it because of the environment. So what do you have to say about that?
Very powerful question, and it's a question that very rarely gets asked. 75% of success in life has to do with your environment.
True.
75. So if you don't have the right people around you, even though there's this passion, there's this purpose in you, it will not find expression like it should. So what tends to happen is that we succumb to our environment. I'm sure that you've heard the story of the frog that was in they put in boiling water, right? And all the frog did is just adapt to the pressure of the water. So they turn the water on, and of course, when you turn water on, it begins to get hotter and hotter and hotter. So what the frog does is that the frog just adapts to it's getting warmer. I'm just gonna adapt. I'm just gonna make my skin be able to adapt with the heat, right? And eventually it becomes too hot for the frog, and then right.
Hmm.
The same thing we need to understand that 75% of success is who you surround yourself with. Just as purpose is important, you need to equally surround yourself you need to equally surround yourself with the right people. When we talk about atmosphere, it's talking about surrounding yourself with the right people. There are people that kill purpose, and there are people that empower you in your purpose. There are people that encourage you to fulfill purpose. Now, when I say empower you, it can be somebody in your life that is actually doesn't believe in you. That can be empowering because you want to prove to them that no, this is what I believe I should be doing with my life. And equally can be someone that's encouraging you and saying, hey, I see it. I see that you can do it. You need to go ahead and get it done. So you need to understand that you need to surround yourself with people, because what happens is that your purpose gets energized. For instance, when I'm around preachers, I it's like I'm at home. It's like I am where I should be. I get energized. I get impacted. I get challenged. I get stirred up. I get like it's like I'm like yes, 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 right? That's what happens when I get around my crowd, when that is in my atmosphere. But if I'm around people that all they want to do is just party, and all they're interested is in partying and do all those things, I'm deflated because I am not where. I'm not saying that you can't. I do go to parties from time to time, but that is not my atmosphere. That's not my realm. My realm is amongst my colleagues, amongst those that are do are that are doing what I am doing. So you also want to surround yourself with. You want to create that atmosphere around you. Like for instance, if you're into sports, you wanna be around people that are in sports because they will inspire you to be
Yeah.
better. They will inspire you to go for it. If you're in
Yeah.
business, you wanna surround yourself with business like minded people, because what they will inspire you with ideas. They will inspire you. That's where your creativity can come forth. That's where you can learn to be the best version of yourself. So
Mm.
75% of success is in surrounding yourself with people that are where you want to be also. You want to surround yourself with people that are where you want to be in life. You don't want to surround yourself with people that are more or less just going about their life and just taking it day by day. No, you want to surround yourself with people that are like-minded, and people that help you to be the best version of you. And also you want to surround yourself with people that are also inspired, that also love what you're doing and are inspired by the way you live your life.
Wow, that's beautiful. So my question again is this, Pastor Nero. So how do you think that the people who struggle to make that change or to make that transition, how do you think, like, what do you think they should do? You know, if there'll be some, like, if they see that, like, oh, my environment is actually not fulfilling for me, my environment is actually not helping me. So, but they are scared to make that decision. They are scared to take that step. What would you say? What would you tell them?
It's very easy to create that environment. You need two things: the people that you know and the books you read. So let's just say I'm in a surrounding where I shouldn't be. Everybody's just living life their own way, and but what am I gonna do? Or let's just say I just moved into a new country and I find myself where I am, but I know that back from where I came from, um, that's not how it was. You can still create that environment even where you are by the books you read. So it's not just people per se. You may have diverse type of people around you. That doesn't mean that you should now run away and and go and find a new set of friends. No. Sometimes you have to let things be organic. I like when things are organic. Organic in the sense that I didn't force anything, it just naturally happened. It's just like when you put a seed in the ground, you put water on it, sunshine. Eventually, what happens? You just let nature take its course. So also we should do in our lives. Let things happen. But the things that you can control, as it pertains to the books you read, so you would get books. So if you're in business and everybody around you is an engineer, everyone around you is into everyone around you is a doctor, and or everyone around you is not what you get books in businesses and you read them, or you on your television when you have your own personal time, you will be listening to messages on business, or you'll be listening to shows that is all about business. So that's how you create the atmosphere around you. So it's not necessarily driving people away from your life and say, "Oh, get out of here, get out of here." But I also believe that with time, you will attract those people. With time, you will attract those things. But don't be bothered by those that you have around. Focus on what you can control by what you're consuming, what your eye is consuming, by the books you're reading. And then eventually, you will now begin to see that um, it's just like a magnet. A magnet attracts. So also your
Yeah,
life will also attract such people into your life eventually. So that's what I would say about that.
I like that. Yeah, because like like I agree with everything that you said, because a lot of times, right, many just don't know, and then many don't understand the step that they need to take, and they just that's why majority of the people are stuck where they are, and that's why they are not, like, progressing. So now back to you again. So I know you wrote the book about the purposeful 1 second, tell me.
Purposeful living.
Yes, thank you. Purposeful living,
Mm,
yes. So I read the book personally.
yeah.
So my question for you is this: that how did you get on, like, what led you to write the book?
Well, first of all, it was an inspiration because I felt that a lot of people don't understand the topic of purpose. So they don't understand that their life is supposed to be purposeful. That's why I call it purposeful living. So they don't understand that, hey, I'm supposed to live my life purposefully. They're living their life aimlessly, meaning they're just going with the Joneses, doing what everyone else is doing. So everyone is working 9 to 5, so they're working 9 to 5. Everyone is partying, they're partying. Everyone is going to school, they're going to school. Everyone is getting their degree, they're getting their degree. Everyone's getting their master's, they're getting their masters. So basically, everybody just everybody just following each other instead of understanding that you are supposed to live life purposefully. That means that God has given me this life. I need to be intentional with the way I live this life. I can't just do what everybody else is doing. I need to do what God has placed inside of me to do. So the book was written to inspire people that say, hey, we need to stop running that rat race. We need to stop trying to be like everyone else. We need to stop being like the crowd. And we need to discover our purpose and run with it. We need to discover our purpose and go out and fulfill it. And then the book also gives you practical things that you can do in everyday life that can help you to discover your purpose. Also, what I also discovered is many people don't understand how to find their purpose. So also I shared briefly. I didn't go into it much, but I shared in it briefly on how um, an average man, an average woman can do what, can discover their purpose in life. So that's why the book was written.
Wow, I like that. So, when I read the book, like I was really, really inspired by it. So, and then I feel that like truly like many needs to read the book
Yes.
because with the message that came like with along with the book,
Hmm.
I feel like it's very powerful that truly many around like just do something because someone else is doing it. And I just want to be there. I just want to be there, not because there is an actual intention towards that action. And that's why I've shown the book to like couple of people that this book is just powerful. Like it's something that like people needs to read and then follow like each steps, and then to be able to grow personally in their life and begin to like make some changes in their lives. So now I want to ask you, Pastor Nero. So now, where are you now in your life? Like, are we gonna be expecting more books, or like, is it gonna be like, what is it? Like, where are you now?
I have I have many books to write. Um, I have many books to write, and it's just a matter of me finding time to sit down and write those books. Um, because there's a lot to do to impact people of our generation as it pertains to purpose, as it pertains to the fulfillment of purpose, as it pertains to enjoying everyday life, as it pertains to be all you can be, and overcoming life's hurdles. Because in life there's hurdles and there's oppositions that we may face. So how to overcome those things are very essential. So there's so much I need to do, and I'm just hoping that I can really find time to really sit down and get a lot of that done. And yeah, and life is a continuous process of learning, so you never stop learning. So that's also on your plate. And then also when you factor in having children and getting married, so that also is a work and as well. So, but it's also very important that we do not lose sight in the midst of all of that of our purpose. We don't
Yes.
get distracted by the lure of 9 to 5. Understand that even in the face of 9 to 5, I still have something that God is expecting me to do with my life, and that the only thing that will truly give me the ultimate fulfillment in life is doing my purpose. Um, always never forgetting that fulfillment, living your best life, being all you can be, living a life where you're content with the way you're living your life is at the place of your purpose. And I believe that once we all understand the importance of our purpose and go after purpose, even our prosperity, when it's, oh, I want to be rich. Well, it's at the place of your purpose, right? So when we all understand that, then I believe that we will pursue purpose. So that's kind of where I am, and I'm trusting that I will have all that I need to be able to accomplish my purpose in life.
Awesome. Awesome. That's that's awesome. I like that. So like right now, um I was wondering like if if the like when you when you meet people personally, like when you meet people and they share their story with you, like what comes to your mind? Because I know you've experienced that. What comes to your mind when they share their journey and then how, like, they've struggled in the past to achieve what they've set for themselves, to achieve some goals. And most of majority of their concern is like fear, 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 fear. So what do you say to them? Or if someone, if you haven't experienced that, if someone come to you and share, like, what they're going through, so what would you say to them in that area?
Um, but we have to understand that life is a journey, and what I always share with everyone is that life is a journey, and it's full of ups and downs. It's full of ups and downs, but the beauty about life is that all these things shape you to be the person you are. So, like for instance, the person that Nini is today is a combination of all that happened the past years that she has been on earth. And he has made her the person that she is to be doing what she's doing now. So I try to help everyone to understand that, I always say that your past experience should not make you bitter, it should make you better. You should take those experiences and probably write a book to teach those people that are in that same age group that, hey, I went through the same thing and this is how you can overcome it. So your past experience should not be the you shouldn't build a house on your past. It should be a learning experience to inspire, to be a story of people that are going to hear you, and to be a story for people that are at that age group, that they can also learn how to overcome it if such thing comes their way. So everything can be used in line as it pertains to purpose. So everything I went through earlier on in life, can use me, or you can inspire somebody that say, hey, when I was in high school, I was bullied. How did you overcome bullying? That's a message. Or when I was in high school, it was a struggle. I struggled so hard. And then out of that out of that struggle, there must be a message. There must be something that you learned that you wish you knew when you were going through that struggle. But now that you know, so guess what? Now you are able to do what? You are able to inspire that generation that hey, even it doesn't matter what you face in high school, you can still become great in life. It's more a function of the way you think, because greatness is not just a function of how smart you are. It is a function of how you think, of how you see things, and how you are able to bring a beauty out of ashes. So it's very important for us and for us as viewers to understand that everything is used to help us to be the best version of ourselves, and we must understand, and we must have that we must have that understanding that everything I go through in life is working for me. Everything I go through in life is making me a better man. Everything I went through, everything I can look back at my life and say, everything I went through worked for me, made me better, made me stronger, made me wiser, so that if anyone that comes to me in their 20s, I'm able to tell them 7 things they need to do in their 20s that I wish I did in my 20s. But now I'm able to instruct them that, hey, if you do these 7 things in your 20s, you can be in your 40s and you're like, wow, I'm glad I did those things in my 20s. So we should not allow ourselves to be bitter by what we went through or by what we didn't do, but we should allow us to be better and use that as a platform to inform the generation that's coming.
I totally agree with you because I'm a believer of the life, like the decisions that you make like 5 years ago are exactly what you're living today.
Mm-hmm.
Either you're living it well or you're not living it well.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly like what you are living now. So, which means that the next 5 years you can do better if you make better decisions for
Yeah.
yourself. So, and I also I also believe that if we can if we can embrace each moment of challenge, struggle, you know, I feel it would be a better place because that's what a lot of people lack. Not being able to embrace, pick up their pieces and learn from it and grow to become better. And just like you said, your story, whatever you're going through, is for you to have a story, it's for you to
Mm-hmm.
have something to tell. Because if you don't have those stories, if you didn't go through those things, there's
Mm-hmm.
no how you can have something to tell someone. So for everyone out there who is watching, I want to tell you that embrace the struggle, embrace the challenge, because it's going to make you become a better person. It's going to help you that one day you can be able to tell someone and share your story, and it will inspire someone and make their life better, give them hope. So, yeah, to all the viewers out there, thank you, Pastor Nero, for that. So, now, what I want to ask you now, don't worry, I'm not going to ask too much deep questions. Yes, yes, but you've been doing very awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, what I want to ask you is this, that how do we as individuals, how do we connect our mind, like our inner self, like the our inner self, like our inner spirit, like how do we connect that with also, searching for our purpose, our path, because sometimes I feel there's conflict in between, and because we don't really know, so a lot of people kind of miss that. So I'm not sure if you understand, like they're like the inner self, like our inner person, like like spirit, like our inner spirit, like when we have like like the Holy Spirit and things like that. So like people tend to like um I've seen a lot of people like that. So where they kind of have like, this is what I want to do, and this is what my spirit is saying, or this is what my spirit is saying, this is what I want to do. And what do you think about that? Do you actually even believe that those things are real? Or like do you think that like people who go through those kind of scenarios, those kind of situations, like what they can do better, like how they can make their life better?
Okay, I'll try to see if I understand what you're saying. So you're talking about spirits, like your spiritual life, and then the way you think, your mind, and then your emotions, right?
Yes, exactly. Like
Okay.
connecting the three, like I mean, the two together, like your mind and then your spirit, like your inner being. So like connecting those things together, and then also in search of your purpose.
Well, um, we are spirits, right? We are spirits. We have a soul and we live in this body. This body is what allows us to live here on earth. Once someone passes away, They leave their body here and their spirit goes on. So, but then we also have what we call a soul. The soul is made up of mind, will, and your emotions. For any man or woman to rule on earth, he needs his mind.
Yes.
Your mind is what allows you to rule on earth. So your spirit, your spirit is important because that's who you are. That's you are a spirit being. So that's where the role of the Holy Spirit comes to regenerate such a man or a woman in their spirit. But if they don't develop their mind, that's the reason why we go to school, to develop our minds. That's the reason why we read books, to develop our minds. That's why we do all these things to develop our minds, because a mind that is developed will accomplish great things in life.
Yes.
So, like for instance, there are people here on earth that they don't even believe in God, but yet they're doing great things. Why? Because they develop their mind. So we have people that are Christians that they believe that if I'm just spiritual, I'll succeed. That's not that's not the truth.
Mm-hmm.
You can be a Christian, you can be spirit filled, you can go to church every Sunday, but if your mind is not renewed, if your mind is not developed, if you don't go to school, if you don't learn new trade, if you don't read books, you cannot actualize your purpose because you still need to develop your we all need development. So that's why you need to study that. Oh, why do we go to school? We go to school to learn so that our minds are expanded. You know, they did a study that if you take 10 of the best computers on earth, it doesn't have the capacity of your mind. That's how much capacity our mind has. But the mind needs like constant information, relevant information. And the more you develop your mind,
Yeah.
the more the more you see development in your life, the more things begin to happen in your life because you have taken time to do what? To develop your mind. So it's very important for us to understand that yes, I'm a spirit. It's good to spirit as it pertains to relationship with God and fellowshipping with God, and because that's like the core of you. But equally you need to understand that you equally need to balance it with developing your mind, developing this mindset on how to think, how to reason, how to
Mhm.
make sound decisions, how to understand how to rule in your sphere of influence. So if I am a doctor, I have developed myself, I went to school, I now know how what it takes to be a successful doctor. So I am trained that way. So I can now go out and execute. But if a man doesn't go to school and just says I want to be a doctor, he won't know what he's doing, and he won't be effective as a doctor. So that's how it pertains to life in general. That we all need to be trained, even though you might have a purpose. I know, for instance, if I know my purpose is to be a pastor, I need to go to pastoral school to learn the laws, the principles that govern that sphere. The reason why doctors go to medical school is to learn the laws and the principles that govern being a doctor so that they can be effective as a doctor. So so you can't just be spiritual and say that, oh, I'm spiritual, so I can start practicing law. No, eventually somebody arrests you and go and they'll take you to jail, right? But once you go to school, you are able to now understand the laws, the principles, and you now understand how a lawyer should think, or how a doctor should think, or how they should solve that case. And eventually, you become it by virtue of the way you think.
Amazing. You answered the question like perfectly. That's so good. You
Yes,
did very well. You did very well.
thank
Yeah,
you.
because I know that like I've seen a lot of people struggle with that. I've seen a lot of people, like, they have like, they they're not able to balance the two.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad that you are able to, like, to not nail that down for us this evening. So
Yeah.
so yeah, so thank you very much. So now, what I'm gonna so what I want to ask you is this, that, so now, Pastor Nero, as time goes by in people's life, right, or in the world, like, and the world generally, so when people, like, when they're trying to, like, find success, you know the people mention success in different ways, and, like, how they want it to be, or what they think it should be in their life, or, like, the level of how many things, like, they've accomplished, right? So you personally, like, how would you define success?
Okay. Success. Very good question. My definition of success is the fulfillment of the purpose at which you are sent here on earth to accomplish. So success is not I have a nice house, I have a nice car, I have a big bank account, I can travel the world. Well, money is no longer my problem. Those things are good. Those things are important. Those things are, I believe, what everyone should try to strive for in their life. But even though you have that, that shouldn't be that is not the definition of success.
Success.
The definition of success is that you can look back at your life and said everything that I believe that I was sent here to do, I've accomplished it. And it's be able to look back at your life and have a sense of fulfillment. In the nature of work I do, I see a lot of people in their 80s, 70s, and they're full of resent. They are not happy. And I was, I was meditating about why are they not happy. And I was talking to a colleague of mine. He said the reason why they're not happy is because deep down inside they know that there's still more they should have done with their life.
Hmm.
So success is being able to look back at your life and have a sense of fulfillment that yes, I have done everything that I'm supposed to do with my life. And that is what we should characterize as success. We shouldn't get caught up with the what I call the mundane things of this life. We shouldn't get caught up with the flashiness of this life. We should be more focused on being able to look back at our life and say, yes, I lived. I've lived so I've lived for about 40 years on the earth, and I can truly say that I am doing what God has sent me here to do. I am I am fulfilled with the way I'm living my life. Life is not boring. I what I'm doing, I have passion for. I love what I'm doing. I'm living my life. It's like I never worked a day in my life. I'm just so much passionate about doing this. It's like, man, I'm I'm just living life to the fullest. And I think that when we begin to say, oh, I've been fulfilling purpose for the past 40 years of my life, I believe that that is success because that is the reason why you are here in the first place.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. So now, before we're gonna be rounding up soon.
Mhm.
So for the viewers, and then for the people out there who are, like, are gonna watch those videos. So I wanted to, like, your book. So where do you think they should find it? I want it to come from you. I know if they go on Amazon, they will find it.
Well, you can get the book at Amazon. It's available on Amazon.ca, Amazon.com. For those of you that are in Nigeria, you can get it in Okada Books. if you go to okadabooks.com, you can get the book that way as well. But if you you can also contact myself on pastorniran@gmail.com, and then we can also see how if for some reason you can't get a copy and you want to get a copy, you can always write me, and then you can get a copy, or you can write on the bottom on the comments of this video, and I'm sure that somehow, some way, we will be able to get back to you and see how we can get the book across to you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then do you have like a copy of the book with you? Because mine, I had to give it to someone else to read.
So it's right here. Okada
Amazing.
Books,
Okay. Yes.
Purposeful
Okay.
Living. Yeah. So it's right there. So get the
Okay.
book. It's a practical guide of how to live life purposefully. I believe that this book should be read at least, try to read it once a year, so that you are staying on the right track. Just like, when you're driving a car, it's already paved on how you should follow, right? And all you gotta do is follow it, right? So sometimes in life, you just need something to. So what am I supposed to be doing practically to ensure that in the next 5, 10, 15 years, I'm able to say yes, I'm living life purposefully. So I believe that this book will benefit. It will benefit the young ones. It will benefit the young ones coming up with their lives, not to waste their life, to see their life as it has a meaning. And also, it benefits those that are in middle age. It helps them understand that, hey, even though some time has gone, I can. There's still a little bit of time left for me to be able
Still do better.
to do better. And then for those I always get that which demographic. I always say that it doesn't matter what age you can have a what I call a reset. You can
Yes.
always have that reset. It doesn't matter if you have had a bad year or bad 5 years or 10 years. You can have
Yes.
that reset. You can decide that from now on, I'm gonna start living life purposefully. So
Yes.
it's for
Not
everyone.
too late.
Yes,
Yes.
never too late.
Never
Yeah.
too late.
Yes.
Yes. So we're gonna drop the link. I mean, sorry, we're gonna drop the contacts, like where you can get the book. We're gonna drop everything below once we're done. So we're gonna drop that, so you can just watch. I mean, you can take a look over there, and then you can go on Amazon, and then you can find the book. And I want to encourage each and everyone, like take time to read the book. I was really inspired. I was really inspired by it. So take the time to read the book, and you'll be amazed how, like it's gonna turn your life around. Like it's gonna bring some change in your life. So Pastor Nero, I want to just take this time to say thank you very, very much. It's been an awesome time with you this evening.
Yes.
Like, just like I said it, it's gonna be juicy. So so it was actually exactly like that. Like, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And then, just keep doing the wonderful thing that you're doing. And then, I believe like we're gonna see at the top.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you so much for having me, Stanini. It's always a pleasure to be a part of what you're doing, and also the same thing for you. Keep doing what you're doing, and we are proud of you, and we know that the best is yet to come.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. See you. All right, so everyone, so you see, it's been an amazing evening. Honestly, even me sitting down here, like, have been really, really inspired tonight by Pastor Nero Kolawole. So, for some of you who don't know him, you can also follow him on YouTube. I mean, on Facebook, on Instagram. He's an amazing pastor that you will learn so much from. So, without being said, this is the Speaker Show. I remember your lawyer host, Nini Olafatai. So I'll see you next week. Next week is going to be another great time. Another great time. You don't want to miss it. I don't want to give you the headline yet, but you're going to see in all our pages. Like it's going to be an amazing time. So I don't want you to miss on anything. I want you to stay tuned. And thank you very much for your dedication, for your time. Thank you, each and every one. And I'll see you next time. The Speaker Show.